But now it's just a thrill to welcome our first keynote speaker of AusCERT 2020. This woman is a superstar in the security field. She's the founder of Code Blue. She established APWG, that international coalition unifying the global response to cybercrime across industry, government, law enforcement, and NGO communities. That's more than 2,000 institutions united worldwide. She formed Black Hat Japan. She founded Code Blue with the purpose of introducing excellent but unknown researchers to Japan and the world. She's a true groundbreaker, an icon. In Japan, she is known as the mother of all hackers. It is a thrill to welcome to AusCERT 2020, the one and the only Kana Shinoda. Kana, take it away.
Hi. The one thing I need to correct is that I didn't create the APWG. I helped them. Joined them, helped them, but I didn't create one. So that's the one thing I like to correct.
Yes, Kana, we're in your hands. Take it away. The floor is yours.
Okay. All right. That I will start. Thank you. All right. So my name is Kana, from Tokyo. So I will today talk about my story with you a little bit. How launch the various hacker conferences. So I used to work for Black Hat. That was starting point as a Japan operation. They had a show in 2004, but I joined them from 2005. They found me through the mutual friends. They picked me because I've been to Black Hat, so I know what it is, and I can speak English, and I have done to organize the seminars a little bit. I learned how to run the hacker conference from Black Hat. I do the all local works with the support of KS from Singapore. He has done Black Hat Asia before Japan show, while the US does CFP and the speaker coordination else. I was so honored to work for Black Hat, but that wasn't the easy task at all. That wasn't easy. The problem I faced was there was no sponsors support us. I go visit the potential sponsors and I found out they don't support us. No one wants to sponsor us. They worried about the reputation. Only the people who love the Black Hat and had the budget, enough budget, sponsor us. Therefore, most of the time, it comes from the research or education budget, not an advertising budget. And some of them even asked why the website is black. They think it looks like a dark web kind of site. Actually, we changed the background color to white in 2008 for Japanese version. And another question was, why name the Black Hat? Even a big newspaper media asked Jeff Moss at the press conference. There are lots of misunderstandings, actually. I also found out people are not used to the vendor neutral conferences. They ask, how much is a session if I sponsor you? It is very, very common to see free entry conference or very local entry fee conferences in Asia. So it's hard to find sponsors. And there was no Japanese hacker communities there at the time. I was gathering information from English sources for security most of the time. So I didn't know if there is a local communities in Japan. Actually, there was a Japanese hacker community, very technical one. That's what I heard. They had a mailing list and an annual event. Their event goes from day and then after the midnight at the club. It sounds cool, right? I wanted to join them, actually, because they are too good. And they were good. Some English speakers even joined the event. Even all contents are in Japanese. But some accident happened by one speaker. I wasn't there, but this is what I heard. He was trying to show some kind of CGI vulnerability things, and his demo movie didn't work out. Instead, he hacked on stage and he showed what he got from the hack, and he showed the data that shouldn't be in public. He's not supposed to show, but it accidentally happened. One of the audience was a law enforcement officer, and the speaker was arrested. That was an accident. And all the event staffs went to the police and for the investigation too. That was the first case of unauthorized access prohibition law in Japan. They had various bashings at the BBS. Perhaps there was some jealousy in the security community because they were too good. After that incident, they shut down the community. That was 2003, a year before Black Hat Japan started. So I learned about it after Black Hat Japan started. I didn't know that. So no wonder there's no community, no supporters around. So that wasn't easy. But in the meantime, I've been looking for a way to rebuild the community anyway. I didn't give up. I finally find a ray of light. I found there was a drinking party after Black Hat Japan. There was a group that hosted the drinking party after the show. It wasn't a big group, about a dozen of people, like 30 or 40 people gathering and drinking and having fun at izakaya or bar place. The name of the community was Team Chidori. I talked to the group leader and asked if it's okay that Black Hat speakers and Jeff Moss and me to join their party. They said yes. And then they arranged some lightning talks at the bar or at the drinking places since we joined. Even though they don't speak English, I mean, Japanese hackers not good at speaking English. But they started to communicate with Black Hat speakers naturally through the computer screen and the code they write. Drinks probably help Japanese not being shy with poor English and made them talk. So actually, Black Hat Japan costed a lot for the simultaneous translation. But here it is. I saw it. We can make an event without the expensive translation. So I suggested to a group leader that I know how to run the international hacker conferences. I will support you logistically. So why don't we launch a hacker conference? He said yes. And then AB Tokyo started. That's how it started in 2008. Their slogan is no drink, no hack. It sounds fun, right? No translations, but a drink. Drink helps for them, not being shy. And also, I suggested to hold a hacker event with the corporate sponsors from my experiences. So we decided to keep no corporate sponsors for them, for AB Tokyo. Some members didn't like this idea. So we decided to set up the individual sponsors instead, individual, so like person, not a corporate. So AB Tokyo had the freedom. AB Tokyo was successful. We mixed the people from Black Hat Japan and other local hackers too, like speakers, and then mixed internationally. That was so successful. I thought this would work out, after years and years for both Black Hat Japan and AB Tokyo, and a good combination. But that was it. Black Hat Japan, the last one was 2008, and after that, didn't return to Tokyo due to the Lehman's financial crisis in 2008. So Again, Yabi Tokyo became the only event for hackers in Japan after they left. And in 2008, I was asked to run the APWG's conference in Tokyo. It is called CECOS, Counter E-Crime Operation Summit. APWG liked my work, and I started to work for them since then. I still work for them as a conference manager and an Asian liaison. APWG holds the event globally, so everywhere in this globe. So I have traveled with them a lot. Through their events, I began to know more about CERT people and the law enforcement people globally. So I had a lot of hacker friends, but now after APWG work, I know more CERT people and law enforcement. And at the same time, I personally visit the conferences here and there to find out more about hacker communities around the world, like China, Korea, Russia, Europe, everywhere. I learned a lot from them and I made a lot of friends here and there. In the meantime, I often ask to hold Black Hat Japan again. Or no, Black Hat Japan again? Or please Black Hat comes to South Korea. Please ask Jeff Moss or please ask Black Hat USA. They ask me, but I'm not the decision maker. And also I talked to the US side and then, however, it seems very difficult to hold a Black Hat in non-English speaking countries at the moment. It's simply because it costs a lot. And the size of the community and the industry matters too. With those strong demands, I kind of try to make new hacker conference instead of the Black Hat Japan. Thus, I've been looking for a great male hacker to be the founder of it. I've been looking for it for a long time, for years and years. And one day, when I talked to a friend of mine, and he told me, why not you? You are the most passionate for it. A most passionate person should do it. It doesn't matter, male or female. I will support you if you do. I was surprised because I never thought about it. Even he said so, he would support me. He said so, but I was scared still. I'm a female, and there's no hacker conference founded by a female hacker in this world. Founder is a great magnet of hackers, right? So how can I be? It's been many years past already, since Black Hat is gone. So after the long considerations, I finally decided to become a founder. Then I launched the Code Blue. That's how Code Blue started. 8 years after the last Black Hat Japan. 8 years. I create the review boards with the security experts. Those are the pictures. They are the magnet for hackers, not me. So one time, when I went to see one of the potential sponsors for the first year, I need to do the sponsor sales. And he asked me, are you sure? Are you crazy? Do you want to sell your house? He was doubted that the financially, he knew how expensive to hold an international conference in Tokyo. So, and actually he was right. I was kind of ready to sell my house if needed. I didn't want to, but if I needed. I told them review boards that I took the risk if something bad happened. I told them no worries, but support Code Blue. That was my determination. So let me explain. What is Code Blue? Code blue is a hospital emergency code. It indicates a patient in need of immediate medical attention or that calls for relevant teams to respond immediately. We named the conference after the code because we hope to save the world by combining people's knowledge. We also aim to fill these gaps, these 4 gaps. 1, language. We prepare the various simultaneous interpreters for non-English native speakers, if needed. I know it costs a lot, but I like to bring the non-English native speakers to the world stage because there are a lot of great speakers. I found it through, since I traveled a lot, I knew there are a lot. Number 2, industries. We provide the various topics tracks to overcome the barriers of the industry. Not only technical, it's fun, but not only technical, but the law and policy, cybercrimes, etc. We mixed it. And then number 3, youth, young people. We provide scholarships for the great U25 speakers under 25 years old. Last year, one of the U25 students received about $25,000 for scholarship. We made this to get close attention from young kids to security. We need people, right? We also created the student staff system too. They can attend the sessions by turns. And the last one, the gap between the world and Japan. There are some examples. Let me show you. Okay, for the first year, we prepared a lecture by Toyota Prius hackers for the first year at the Code Blue. After we announced about the Prius hacking at the Code Blue, I got many phone calls from the government and the various other parties about the content. What you gonna talk about? Is it okay? Is it dangerous or something? Some people may want to stop. Some people worry too much. It can be canceled or something. But I explained carefully, to them, and why we do this. They finally understood us. The same thing happened with a network device made by Japanese manufacturers too. But they understood us, and then we became a good friends. And they both are regular sponsors of Code Blue now. Now we have lots of non-security companies sponsoring us. And CTF. I tried to organize CTF sometimes. That's the only one I couldn't make it. Couldn't make it happen. But at the end, some of the top CTF players came to me and said, let us do it. Code Blue is an international hacker conference. It should come with CTF too, they said. They are top players, but students, young kids. There's no reason for me to decline their proposal, such young, passionate proposal. They created the Bullseye CTF, a unique CTF system that competes for exploit strengths. So that is how Code Blue has begun. And then the next challenge for me is DCC, Global Cybersecurity Camp. This is a week-long camp with cybersecurity training for young students from participating countries. Currently, we have 8 countries. This wasn't my idea. The reason I made this is because I received a request from Taiwanese professor. He wanted to build a platform for Asian human resources. He convinced me to help him for over 2 years, I think. At first, I didn't say yes, because it sounds like very complicated and difficult. But at the end, I decided to do it by thinking of the peace in Asia. Asian countries can be complex relationships sometimes from past history. But I thought if young people could connect with good faith friendships before working for the government or businesses, I think it would definitely help in future incidents. And I think it's worth to try anyway. First, we propose the GCC to stakeholders in each country and convince them. But it took another 2 years to launch the first one in Seoul. That was 2019. Last one was 2020 in Tokyo, the beginning of last February. We were kind of lucky. It's just before COVID-19 got pandemic. I mean, that was started, but not pandemic yet. So for the next one is Taiwan. We are still thinking how we can do what we can do for the next one. So these are the student smiles. I think it is very worth to try. And the global Japanese companies are paying attention to GCC students, I know, because they want to hire people with global communication skills and a good technical background in their security department. I think same goes to other countries too. They can be heroes in future. Who knows? So this is it. This is the story I shared with you today. Thank you very much for your patience and listen to my lecture. Enjoy the rest of the AusCERT 2020. Thank you.
Kana, thank you very much for that wonderful presentation. Do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions?
Sure, go ahead.
You must have been nervous when you first started in that industry. And if people want to send me questions, just do it on the general chat. I'll see them. I'll ask them of Kana now. You must have been nervous when you started. Where did you find the motivation, the courage to tackle those big challenges?
I think the smiles from the audience. I know from the Black Hat Japan, it was tough, but the people were happy and find a lifetime friends, and sometimes some people got the jobs too, promoted too. So the hacker conference, I'm scared, but it was to try anyway. So that makes sense?
Yes, it does. In Australia, we have always thought of Japan as a very technologically advanced country.
Mm-hmm.
Are young women, are girls encouraged to move into technology, to move into computers, to move into security as much as they could be?
Good question. I think to compare with other countries, maybe not much. I think Korea is a good case. They have a lot of female students go to learn the technical things at the university and the college. They have this, I think even they have cybersecurity courses in the female universities, female college. But Japan, only, few number of people, but some people got interested. So there's a movement a little bit. There's a community. It's named CTF Girls, and that's a bunch of people, female who likes to play CTF. They are very technical.
If you could do anything that you wanted, what would you do to encourage more young women to get into this exciting field?
If I'm if I am a college student now?
What would you do? What policies, what ideas do you think we could do to get more young women involved?
I don't know, but I think they open mind more. So I created female groups, perhaps, I don't know, but they are encouraged by seeing the female hackers. So it means, I mean, it was to gather the female anyway in the technical field, in the technology field.
Someone asks a question here from someone watching, Kana.
Mm-hmm.
How can foreigners best connect with industries in Japan to work as a cybersecurity professional?
Can you repeat that again?
Yes,
Sorry.
if I wanted to work with Japanese industry, what is the best way for me to find contacts, connections in Japan to work in cybersecurity?
Okay. The easiest one is a Code Blue, actually. Code Blue is a free entry this year, no charge. You just jump in. So, and it's English. It's good. I mean, it's easy for you guys to because it's English and Japanese, so it's easy to find friends there. Yeah.
Great. There's another question that's come through. Everyone is saying thank you. Everyone is saying thank you for your talk. We loved it. Rainer asks, it sounds like you faced a lot of challenges. If you were going to do this all again, what is one thing you would do differently?
Good question. But I think I do the same thing because those challenges, I did my best. That was the best I did. So there's no regret. I think I do the same thing, even I go back to the past.
Someone else asks, are there courses in info security being taught in universities and colleges in Japan? Is there much education?
Yeah, there are some, increasing more. Even there is some cybersecurity courses for the high school. Not the very, not the big numbers, but they are studying.
When it comes to younger people and getting them excited in this field, what age do you think we should be targeting? 5-year-old, 10-year-old, 15-year-old? When is the best age for young people to fall in love with this area?
It's hard to answer. I don't have kids, so I can't answer. But whenever I don't know, but most of them got into the hacking after 10 or so. But George Hotz, the first hacking was when he was 4, so I can't say the age. So,
I was lucky enough to visit Japan last year. My daughter was studying at a school in Japan, and I went and visited her, and we had a wonderful time in Tokyo. What do you like to do? What are your hobbies or pastimes when you're not working in this field? What do you like to do to have fun?
That's a good question too. I work. But I love working, but I love sleeping, and I walk the dogs in the park, and I love the ocean and the rivers, and then just walking and feeling the natures. I like it. And I read books.
Thank you very, very much for sharing your time with us today. You have been a wonderful opening speaker. Please stay safe. We hope your next conferences go very well, and we'd love to see you again in person in Australia at an AusCERT conference. Thank you, Kana.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. The wonderful, wonderful Kana Shinoda has got us off and running at AusCERT 2020. Thanks for all those Q&A questions coming through. Thanks for the chat as well, ladies and gentlemen. The chat line's absolutely going off.